In the lands between, many animals still carry vestiges of the primordial crucible. This source of power, tinged red and gold, is said to have been the primordial matter that became the Erd Tree. But many believe the Erd Tree itself has tapped into the crucible and twisted its power. Regardless of your theories on how the two are connected, we can say with absolute certainty that they are, after Marika ascended to godhood. If you've played Shadow of the Erd Tree, you know the story from there. Marika rose to power and sent her first son to bring the Land of Shadow to heal, subsequently locking it away from the rest of the world to ensure her secrets remained hidden forever. However, there are still signs of the truth, vestiges of the Land of Shadow that can be found in the lands between. In fact, I believe one creature we find across these lands with no written lore whatsoever originates from the Land of Shadow, and was brought to the lands between to be subjugated and forced to serve the Golden Order. Today, we discuss the Elder Lions and my theory on their origins. Welcome back to Square Table Gaming, where we bring you the lore of Elden Ring and Night Rain every week. This week, we're sponsoring ourselves again by asking you to check out our Patreon. Elden Ring content has more or less fallen off the algorithm on YouTube, so if you've ever enjoyed our lore dives, or just like to fall asleep to our videos, please consider joining. Much like our memberships on YouTube, we're offering early access to our content, but at additional tiers we've got new perks, like behind-the-scenes looks at our editing process, access to the scripts of all of our videos, and ad-free content. If you want to support the channel and enjoy our entire library ad-free, please consider signing up for the STG Patreon. With that said, let's discuss these horned creatures. The Elder Lions are found in multiple locations across the lands between, such as Stormvale Castle, Fort Gale, Redmane Castle, and Castle Saul. These lions do not have the regal look of Serosh. Rather, they're covered in horns and chains with gaunt faces. These creatures have clearly been subjugated, as they're covered in manacles with nails driven into them, and rather than let them attack their prey with their own claws, they've had a large blade affixed to their arm. On closer inspection, these lions are also covered in scars, and areas of their body are devoid of fur, showing only the flesh underneath. The sad state of these creatures raises the question, why were they treated so poorly by those who used them to defend their castles and homes? It would seem these lions may have once been part of Colosseum combat, due to their name in Elden Ring's internal files, but I think it's important to take information like this with a grain of salt. The curved swords on their wrists and the chains wrapped around their body lend credence to the idea that they may have once been used as adversaries for those who once braved the Colosseum, but we have no written lore outlining this as truth. It's a fair assumption, but I believe there isn't enough to back it up, as so many changes were made before the launch of Elden Ring that this name, Old Lion of Arena, could no longer be relevant. With that said, we do face an Elder Lion in the Colosseum as the Raider in Elden Ring Night Rain, so you could count that as a point in favor of this interpretation of their history. In the base game of Elden Ring, there were no dropped items that specifically addressed the existence of the Elder Lions. Even the creatures themselves only drop beast blood and old fangs. Beast blood is said to be fresh beast blood glinting with gold, found by hunting carnivorous beasts. This glimmering blood never rots or decays. And the old fang is described as a rarely seen specimen of beast fang, found by hunting carnivorous beasts. These multiple overlaying fangs grow from a single root. Perhaps they're a vestige of the primordial crucible. All these items really tell us is that the lions are closely tied to the crucible, but the horns coming from their long manes already express their roots to us, while at the same time differentiating the Elder Lions from the other lion in the base game, Serosh. From what we can tell, Serosh had no deeper connection to the crucible, as he had no horns or expressions of the crucible on his body. Taking this a step further, I believe this means the lions used in Radahn's armor also have no connection to the Elder Lions, as the only lion used as a symbol of the Golden Order would have been Serosh. All this to say, the Elder Lions seem to have no real place in this land, aside from a subjugated muscle. So perhaps they don't originate from here. When making our way through the Land of Shadow, we come across Bellarat Tower Settlement, where we learn about the divine beast dancing lion from the Horn-Sent Grand Dam. In essence, This divine beast was said to find purchase within the sculpted keepers, and they would use its strength for rituals as well as combat. As I've explored in a previous video, these were the highest level of divine beast warrior amongst the Hornsent, and both the dancing beast and the divine beast warriors utilize lion heads. The divine beast helm is described as a helm of tangled horn attached to a divine beast mask, allowing the wearer to invoke divinity. Worn by divine beast warriors, the chosen of the horned warriors. Divine invocation heightens intensity of the storm alongside strength and dexterity, but reduces the restorative effect of drinking from a flask of sacred tears. Focus is also troubled by wearing this helm. The armor of these warriors is also described as armor of fetid horned warriors, chosen to become divine beast warriors, adorned with a lion's pelt. Among the divine beast warriors, only those who truly excel at divine invocation become sculpted keepers, and are granted the honor of the lion dance. The lions that seem to have been skinned for their pelt and had their heads turned into masks seem much closer to the elder lions of the lands between than Serosh, especially considering these helms are adorned with horns, and the pelts have the same gray fur. I believe this means the elder lions came from the Land of Shadow. They were subjugated by Queen Marika and brought to the lands between, not only to protect its many castles, but to end the practice of the divine beast dancing lion once and for all. Further proof of these origins can be found when fighting the elder lions of Castle Sol. They can both utilize an ice breath that causes frost buildup on our Tarnished. You could argue that they can only utilize this ability because of where we find them, deep in the snowy mountains. But if we take another look at the divine beast dancing lion, we can see how it utilizes multiple elements, including frost. I'm willing to bet that all of the elder lions could have once utilized this ability, but their severely diminished strength from years of abuse has limited their access to whatever divine power they may have once possessed in the past. These particular lions can still use their frost breath, as they live amongst the snow and cold. It would seem that yet again Shadow of the Erdtree answered a question many likely forgot they had when exploring the lands between. The lions always stood out as an anomaly amongst the castles of the Golden Order. They were clearly held against their will, and their horns marked them as lesser beings in the eyes of Queen Marika. But rather than being left to their own devices wandering the lands between, the only ones we can find are in captivity. Now we know why the lions were chained and used for their strength. They were once an important part of the Hornsent's divine beast practices. These lions were skinned for their pelts, and their heads were used to make helmets for the divine warriors. In taking those lions from the Land of Shadow, Marika ensured that they would never be used for these ritual practices. Over time, these Hornsent rituals would be forced to die out without any lions left in their lands. Unfortunately, it seems Marika's prejudice against anything showing vestiges of the crucible meant these poor creatures only escaped their fate as future pelts by instead becoming malnourished guard dogs, wasting away as their golden masters fought their wars amongst themselves. There would be no happy ending for those that survived long enough to be known as Elder Lions. Thank you for spending some time with me as I explore the origins of the Elder Lions of the Lands Between. Do you believe these lions originate from the Land of Shadow? Were they raised by the Hornsent only to be slaughtered for their heads and pelts? Why did the Golden Order decide to keep these lions as prisoners, rather than kill every last one of them? Let us know your thoughts and theories in the comments. Watch that button light up as I say like this video, and if you think we've earned it, please subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss out on any of our lore dives. We look forward to seeing you again for more Elden Lore.